And welcome back, everyone. I had to change my shirt. I'm doing these back to back, just because it was just a little too tight. I still need to lose a little weight for that shirt. I'll be honest. I don't think I'll ever be able to properly wear that shirt again. My body's changed too much for me to lose enough weight healthily to wear it properly. So I had to make a shirt change in between. But we got from Freddie Hall. Who would win a fight, Batman or Danzo? So this Batman, we've done plenty of times. We know Batman, Bruce Wayne. His story is ingrained in pop culture. If you don't know superheroes, you know Batman's backstory. Same with Spider-Man, same with Superman. Those are the three heroes you guarantee know the backstory of. Trained to become, a master crime fighter, master world's greatest detective, master martial artist, number gadgets, so forth and so on. The reason I'm just skirting over Batman is because Batman's going to have a hard time with any Naruto character because he himself lacks a lot of things to counter certain jutsu that certain ninja have. Danzo Shimura was a teammate of the third Hokage, lost out on the Hokage position, continued for years to try to get it, almost attempted to assassinate the third, failed, then was basically relegated to back the hell off, disband your root organization, you're done. Never did it, and has secretly been trying to undermine and get control of the Leaf and do what he thinks is right for the Leaf, not realizing that he himself is not right for the Leaf. Hubris much? Danzo is, but even in his advanced age, and he was in his 70s, when we believe he was in his 70s, Danzo Shimura. Danzo age. How old was he? I believe he was in his 70s, right? 72 to 73 in part 2. So yeah, he's in his early 70s. Good shape for... He was able to fight toe-to-toe with Sasuke, and he would have won had Sasuke not put a genjutsu on him. So for a ninja in his early 70s, he's still a very capable guy, capable of being a Kage candidate. He's skilled enough in taijutsu. He's a master of winjutsu, particularly one of the techniques he knows is shooting wind from his mouth and turning into blades. He has a summoning, which is a Baku, or a type of tapir spirit, which has the ability to just suck everything into its maw, although any fire or damage in there would negate it and cause damage to the summon, sending it back to wherever it came from. Batman just needs to throw an explosive shuriken in there if you're good, or explosive battering. You're good. But Danzo has a couple other tricks up his sleeve, including the ability to use wood release, although it's not very strong because it's made from Hashirama cells implanted on him. He has multiple Sharingan, including the Koto Amatsukame. I might be butchering the name. The mind control jutsu that Danzo has. From Shusui that he can only use once every so many years. He also has all of his Sharingan, which beyond that, which the one in his eye gives him all the abilities of the Sharingan, which allows him to perceive movements, react accordingly, copy any jutsu he sees, negate genjutsu, and inflict genjutsu on individuals. The other Sharingan he has implanted onto his arm allow him to use Izanagi, which allows him to pretty much use a genjutsu so powerful it rewrites reality. And so it allows you to escape death multiple times at the cost of that eye going blind and basically closing for good. He's also capable of using wind into his weaponry to enhance its cutting capability. He does know seals, although in battle we don't know if he's very competent with them. So, okay. In a hypothetical where Batman and Danzo are squaring off with each other, for the first time, Batman never meeting Danzo and Danzo seeing Batman as a threat, because even in the ninja world where everyone's using chakra, save for my guy in Rock Lee, Batman would still be probably a threat. In fact, his intellect alone would make him a threat. His skill also is highly threatening, given the fact that the only ones who could really beat him in a straight-up fight would probably be like Kakashi, Guy, or Lee. And even then, Lee and Guy are still augmenting their abilities with their... They can't mold chakra, but they have chakra, with their own chakra. And I'm talking about just in straight hand-to-hand combat. And even Kakashi might not be able to handle Batman just because Batman knowing so many different techniques between pressure points, jujitsu, submission holds, straight martial arts, and his weaponry would be difficult to deal with. The problem Batman's going to face in any scenario involving Danzo is genjutsu. Because Batman's mind is insanely resilient, capable of easily guessing past illusions, fighting through hallucinations, and even having a mental breakdown, having a backup personality when your first personality has a mental breakdown, goes into like comatose state, and then ultimately goes on a rampage until your original personality says, I'm good, let's keep going. Batman's will and mental resilience are through the roof. But, and you know what, I'm just going to get the name of it right now. I have the name right here. So, it's Koto, Koto. Where is the Koto? There we go. Koto Matsukami. Oh, I finally got Koto Matsukami. Koto Matsukami. There we are. He has no counter for that. If Danzo really felt pushed, and I'm not saying he would, he could just put Batman into a mind control and make him his slave. Batman would not have any resistance because the influence of the Genjutsu is so subtle that unless you have some secondary or third influence, recently within my What If series with Naruto and Benihime, I brought up the question of whether Danzo would theoretically try to put Naruto under his Genjutsu with Koto Akasuma. Koto. I had it pronouncing it right at first. Koto Amatsukame. I said no. Probably wouldn't be a good time. People were already starting to get suspicious of Danzo because Naruto was putting an influence on him. But even if he did, not only does Naruto have Kurama in there theoretically, and Danzo would not be affecting Kurama. He'd be affecting Naruto. He'd have to be able to bypass Naruto to affect Kurama, to go to Kurama. But he also has Benihime, who if Benihime saw Naruto acting weird, she would be wondering if something was up, and basically using Kurama, they'd be wondering, I wonder if a Genjutsu was happening. Do that, and they would be able to release the Genjutsu. Might take some effort, but I think they'd be able to do it. Batman doesn't have any of that. He also doesn't have any counter to Winjutsu at all. Those Blades of Wind, Batman has no counter. He's got armor, sure, and that armor can take a serious hit, but he's got no counter for that. So Batman, unfortunately, I think is going to be... Now, Batman gets in close in combat with Danzo. That is different. Once he closes the gap between them, he is going to actually, I think, hold an edge in straight out combat. Then he also has his gadgets, which include explosive gels, explosive batarangs, his electric gauntlets, his bolos, grappling hooks, all that. So at that point, he could definitely press Danzo. At that point, though, Danzo would then put him under a Genjutsu, just because he's close enough. And Batman doesn't have any idea about the Sharingan, so that would not work. However, Batman is also the master of prep. Usually what happens when he's going up against an opponent he knows he can't beat on his own, he usually goes in with some sort of game plan, a suit of armor, a backup weapon, a strategy involving some other person. So, in theory, could Batman prep enough to avoid everything that Danzo could throw at him? That would be a problem. Well, let's again go into what Danzo actually has under his belt. He's got a Curse Eradication tongue seal that he puts on the Root Ninja. He's also got another seal he uses where he'll basically implode on himself. In case someone tries to steal secrets from him. He has a regeneration ability, but again, he's got Izanagi. He does have the Sharingan. The Izanagi isn't going to be a real offensive technique, and Batman can't really counter that, but that's just because, really, it's more that Danzo's going to be able to get away when he is killed by Batman. He has the summoning technique of the Baku, but Batman can counter that already. He's got spontaneous tree summoning technique to summon trees. He's got wind release vacuum blade, great sphere, serial waves, vacuum sphere, which basically is just creating a vacuum sphere, and vacuum wave and wind wave. So, I mean, he's a very proficient Winjutsu user. And that really seems to be his bread and butter in combat half the time. He's also capable of using like piercing wind-like bullets, various dosages. Basically, he is very skilled in wind jutsu, which is honestly going to be Batman's biggest problem, along with the Sharingans. So, is Batman capable of designing something or going into fight, going combat, knowing he'd be fighting these aspects of Danzo, and designing something that would give him the win? Against the wind, that's pretty easy. Develop a more durable suit of armor. Hell, I could even see Batman designing a special bat suit that A, would take the brunt, but also actually just take the wind, siphon it through and all, because it's like a wind turbine, and strengthen his armor. So just turn the weakness into a strength, and then come in and just boom, bam, blam, Danzo. So right there, that's a big weakness out of the way. The only issue was like if he'd be using like cutting blades of wind with his kunai, siphoning it through there. But Batman theoretically could just have thick armor as well. Could he do something about the genjutsu, particularly Koto Matsukame? Particularly that. See, with like basic Sharingan genjutsu, I imagine Batman could actually have if he knows how it works, he might have either like a special lens over, or like a visor over his eyes to like blot out a certain amount of the imagery, or he just has like if he's got readers in his suit that indicates like certain brainwave functions going off or else, so he has like an electric shock that shocks him back. So basic genjutsu is not going to work. The Koto Matsukame, though, that's the tricky one. This is also assuming Danzo even uses that in combat. I mean, we know he didn't in Sasuke, so he already tried to move in Mifune, and he can't use it again for some time. So, that one is a tricky one, because I don't know if Batman, this is assuming Batman knows about the Koto Matsukame. If he knows about it, which we're assuming going into prep, he knows all about Danzo, including that. So does he have a way around that? Here's the thing. While the jutsu would theoretically work on Batman, Batman is paranoid enough and smart enough to know, I should stop fighting you, but I know I need to fight you. So even if Danzo turns him, makes him try to kill himself or whatever, Batman he'd either resist the impulse because of just sheer willpower, and by the way, I don't want to hear someone say, no one can resist it. It's this. Like, okay, first off, we only saw it the one damn time in canon. I think it was used once in the novels too. We only saw it the one damn time. So don't give me any of that bullshit that no one could resist it. We just never saw anyone try to resist it, assuming they knew it was being used on them. So with that said, assuming that in theory you could resist it if you know about it. And I think that's the key to the jutsu. Because it's so subtle, people just don't know they're under it. But if they're at any point aware that they're under the genjutsu, they in theory should be able to bust out of it without any other difficulty than any other genjutsu. Maybe it takes more effort with your chakra to disrupt it, but by all accounts, you should be able to break out of it if you're aware you're under it, or someone else is aware you're under it. It may take a lot to do it, but you should be able to do it, be it with chakra effort or theoretically sheer will. Now again, we never saw that in the manga or the anime. I acknowledge that. And it's stated to be arguably the strongest genjutsu, or at least in the top 3. But just because we didn't see something happen doesn't mean it couldn't happen. I am playing with what-if variables at the moment here. So I don't want to get any of the fandom on my ass. We're like, you don't know the series, you never watched it, you need to rewind. It's like, dude, I watched I read the manga. I read it from when did I actually start reading it weekly? Because I was reading online weekly. I think it was right around the time that Sasuke and Killer Bee had their fight. Yeah, when Sasuke tried to go after Killer Bee. That's when I started getting back into Naruto, because I'm like, not that I wasn't still into Naruto, but I was like, oh yeah, I actually found a way I can read this weekly now. Awesome. Excuse me. So, yes, hypothetically, if Danzo basically is using the Genjutsu to give Batman a command that Batman even acknowledges that doesn't make any sense, he must have put me under the Genjutsu. Well, okay, I'm just not going to do that. Now again, maybe it would take a lot of like willpower resisting, but Batman has the willpower in spades. So on that ground, with all that said, could Batman with prep beat Danzo? It would be difficult because Danzo would be a ranged fighter a lot of the time, especially with the wind jutsu. Batman could make a suit that uses the wind to his advantage. Danzo, though, could theoretically just come in and start tearing the suit apart with jutsu. Unless we're talking about Batman using like the final bat suit. Let me put it this way. If Batman is using the final bat suit, then yeah, honestly, if Batman's just using the Justice Buster, he's going to win. Almost certainly. Because that Justice Buster can go toe-to-toe with Superman. And Danzo is no Superman. Although, Danzo theoretically, with the Koto Matsukame, Danzo technically has an ability that could work on Superman. Superman has been mind controlled before. Yes, he now has mental blocks through to awakening bullshit or whatever, but there's only... If he doesn't know he's being put under the Genjutsu, hypothetically, he could be put under the Genjutsu. I'm not saying Superman would lose that fight. No, I'm just saying that he does have a technique that could work on Superman. So yeah, if Batman's using any of his, or the Hellbat, oh god, the Hellbat, which could literally deck Darkseid and give him problems. So yeah. I'll say this, with prep, Batman stands a good chance. It's not guaranteed though. That's the big thing here. I don't think it's guaranteed. The Koto Matsukame is just the wild card of this. So I will say this, because it's not a guaranteed win, I will say that the overall win still goes to Danzo, particularly if it's just a blank blank first time meeting fight and they still have to go all out. Yeah, Danzo would beat Batman. With a proper suit, Batman could beat Danzo, but it all depends on the suit and if he's got a counter to everything Danzo throws out. So yeah, I'm going Danzo most of the time, but Batman's definitely got avenues to win. Who do you got in this fight, though? Let me know. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.